And of course, let's get right to our fair and balanced debate. Amos Snead is partner at Bryant and former press secretary to House Republican Blunt. Craig Varoga is Democratic strategist and the president of the Patriot Majority. Thank you both for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Amos, I want to start with you. We saw in Kristen's piece the Trump flare, the plane flyover of the stadium on Friday night, the 30,000 people. He's still doing phoners on the Sunday political shows. Is it still working?
I think it's still working for Donald Trump, and I think he's having a blast out there. But if you really look at his campaign compared to all the other campaigns on the right and the left, it's the only one out there who's saying what he's really for. He wants to make America great again. And if you look at that, you know, the last time we had a slogan that simple that people could rally around, it was President Obama's first campaign. So I think Trump, he's causing fits out there, but he's having a blast, and I don't see him going away anytime soon.
You don't see him going away? Craig, what do you think? You think he's going to go away?
If I worked at the RNC, I would consider hiring a hostage negotiator to try to get the guy to leave the building and to not harm anybody in the process.
So you think he's causing damage to the Republican Party?
I think he's causing significant damage to the Republican Party, but I also think he's damaging the overall process. And where we're, I mean, running for the president should be a serious matter, and it should not be bombastic, and it should not be filled with insults. And I think what we've seen from him so far is a style that may be resonating, but content and character which is lacking.
Okay, so you think that perhaps, you probably agree to disagree that you think he's causing damage to the Republican Party?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, but I want to segue into the fact that I assume you disagree with that. But do you think he is changing the rhetoric? We heard Jeb Bush last week using a little bit more strong language, maybe coming across a little bit more forceful than he has in years past, especially when he was running for governor. Do you think that Trump has impacted the Republican Party and now we're seeing tougher rhetoric from some Republicans?
I don't know if it's tougher rhetoric, but he has impacted this debate because, I mean, say what you will about Donald Trump, he knows how to stay in the news. And so all the other candidates are trying their best just to break through to get a mention of their name. So he has the Trump impact on this election right now.
Maybe pushing the bar a little bit higher.
Can I add something
to
that?
Of course you can.
I think that he's making the other candidates look weak. And I think that they're struggling to try to figure out how to respond to it.
You don't think that they look stronger because they're coming out more forcefully?
If I were a Republican, and I'm not, I would ask the question, what would Richard Nixon do or what would Ronald Reagan do if they confronted a challenge like this? And I think that they would be tougher and stronger than we've seen so far.
Okay. All right. I want to shift gears to the Democratic side to give equal time to both sides. We heard that there was a meeting between Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Elizabeth Warren. I want to start with you. Do you think that Hillary Clinton should feel threatened right now?
Well, look, I think that there are two things that aren't going away in this election so far. One's Donald Trump and the other are Hillary Clinton's stories about Hillary Clinton's emails. I would be concerned about it. I wouldn't panic. But if I were in her campaign, I would say get rid of this story and flush it as quickly as possible.
How do you get rid of this story? Because it is just, it's the gift that will not stop giving.
Look, I don't know the specifics of everything that's there, and I don't think anybody, outside of, Hillary Clinton and a few others do. But I think that they should flush this story as expeditiously as possible because it is doing damage. Just think about the fact that there has not been a single ad, so far done about this, and it's become a major news story that just won't go away.
Well, it's a major news story because now the FBI is involved. I mean, this is a major news story, and Americans want to know. They want transparency. So do you think that Hillary Clinton's team should be worried about the possible meeting between Vice President Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren?
I think absolutely they should be worried. I mean, Biden's coming out, and he's now the Democratic Party's insurance policy in case this story continues to stay in the news. And, the timing is working out really well for Vice President Biden because he gets to come in and look like the party's savior and look like he's saving the day. So if I was the Clinton campaign, I would be absolutely worried about Joe Biden.
Who gets the nomination if it were between Hillary Clinton and Vice President?
I think Hillary Clinton remains the favorite. However, the one thing I would say is that when there's a large field, a lot of times there are candidates who blink and imagine themselves being a member of the cabinet or being a running mate. Joe Biden will never blink because he's already been there.
All right. You get the final word, so we're out of time. Thank you so much, Amos. Craig, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. On the brink of the most fortified